Hello, Maddie here. Thank you for coming back for another week, another book here on my channel. Are y'all ready for another recommendation that's going to get 0 views? Nobody's going to like, but it's a book I love, have read many times, and it's one of those books that's always in the back of my mind of like, you could reread that one. Today we're talking about Marcia Schuyler by Grace Livingston Hill. You know, at some point, I should do a video of just all the books I've read because of my eldest sister. Because this is another one. Last week's video, or 2 weeks ago, my last video was about a book that my sister read. And I have so many books that I've read, either because my oldest sister read them to me as a kid, which is awesome. I freaking those are some of my favorite memories. Or 2, she's given to me as an adult being like, hey, I think you'd like this book. You should read it. Or 2, she's given me books saying, hey, I need someone to read this because I don't have time. And so I'm like, okay. And I've DNF'd books she's given me and I've given them back to her and saying, this was not worth it. But this is not one of those books. This is a book I wish I could remember when she gave it to me because I'm pretty sure it was at a rough time in my life. We're going to see if Goodreads will come through. So it was December of 2020. At that time, so I don't know exactly, or I don't remember exactly when my sister gave me this book. If I had it for years before I read it, or if it was something she'd given me recently. But I read this book when I was at my really rough job in College Station. It was just really dark and depressing, undervalued, underpaid. It was super toxic. It was terrible. I read this book during that time period, as I remember it making me feel lighter and hopeful. Not like it's all gonna be okay. It's all just like perfect and the world is wonderful. But just like this book to me, it made me feel more lighthearted in its own weird way. Like everything will be okay, even if my current situation is nothing like the book for obvious reasons. So let's read the synopsis before I talk more about this book. We'll probably never get into the proper cadence of these videos, but that's fine. When Marcia Schuyler's beautiful and selfish older sister, Kate, abandons handsome David Spafford at the wedding altar, Marcia offers to take Kate's place. Her offer is accepted, and Marcia finds herself married to a man she hardly knows. Though David shows Marcia every kindness, she is painfully aware that he still loves her sister, a fact that strikes deep, since Marcia has begun to truly love her husband. Then Kate returns, and she's determined to win David back, no matter what it takes or who it hurts. Now Marcia must fight to save her marriage and the man she loves from a desperate web of lies and deceit. Dang! Grace Livingston Hill has written over 100 books. How do you write over 100 books? That's wild to me. I would love to write 1 or 2 in this lifetime. Over 100. Dang, that's wild. Is she still writing books? Wild synopsis. Things that don't really happen in real life, but in books or maybe movies. All the cheesy books, all the cheesy movies. You know you've come across something where there were 2 sisters and one was supposed to get married to somebody and didn't, and the other sister took her place. Now, to be fair, most of the modern versions of this are we're combining businesses and creating empires. And so usually the family of the daughters is indebted to the husband's family. So they can't not marry. And in this one, it really is saving face for both families because this is at a time when I couldn't tell you the time period. I would say late 1800s, early 1900s, I think is when this book takes place. No, it's around when trains were becoming a thing. When was that? Because that's a whole thing. The end of the book is them seeing the first steam engine or something. Not really important. Okay, so it's a time when he couldn't go home without a wife. Her family was we can't hold a wedding with no bride. And so the younger sister steps up because she's kind of why not? Really? She doesn't go into it being oh, David is just so wonderful and I already love him. I think it's more I don't really have a life right now. It's what do I have to lose? Also, he seems like a great guy. So that can't be bad, right? That's pretty much her thought process. She's definitely very naive. She's 16 or 18 or something that seemed appropriate at the time that now we'd look at it and be you let your 16-year-old sister do what in your place? That doesn't seem appropriate. In these videos, we don't go into plot holes because I can't see them. 2, rarely do I look at and discuss the problematic features of my books. I wouldn't say that a lot of my books have problematic features, but some of them do. because they were time appropriate. And we're just like, we just gotta be okay with that. Not necessarily okay with it. We just have to accept that fact and move on and enjoy the book. So yes, she's quite a bit younger than him. She's too young to be getting married, but it all ends up okay. And they have great communication. Not great. It takes them a while to get there. By the end, they have good communication. So Marcia is super naive. She really is like I don't have anything to lose. Like my life is pretty meh right now. So like, why not? He's also, I think, decently rich. Like that's not a bad thing. He's no Mr. Darcy, but like he's very comfortable. He can afford new clothes, a nice house, things like that. So she's like, literally, why not? And this whole book is just them figuring that out. Figuring out what it looks like to be married, falling into those roles and understanding what the other person needs of them more than just, her having food ready and him giving her emotional support. Like, I actually like having you here. And they learn about each other and learn what the other person needs, because there are loads of stereotypes when it comes to marriages and like husband and wife, the roles that they play. The man is the breadwinner. He, earns all the money. He makes you comfortable. He, pays for the house and the clothes and the cars and the whatever. And the woman sets up the home. She has food on the table. She keeps everything clean. She provides that kind of like cozy, loving feeling while he's getting stuff done. There's nothing wrong with those or anything like that. But outside of those stereotypes, every marriage is different. Every husband needs slightly different things. Every wife needs slightly different things. So yes, I love having a protector and a leader in my marriage. I also like, I don't know, what else do I need? I need so many things. I need, just constant reassurance that like my emotions are okay and they're not too much, and that like, I'm doing the right thing and we're where we're supposed to be. And on the other side of that, I can encourage him in, his work throughout the years. I've been able to help him dive into his hobbies and be comfortable with who he is as a person. All the quirks about him that he didn't feel comfortable with growing up, and just being like, that's okay to be a little weird or a lot weird. Sometimes we're a lot weird. But that's what Marcia and David are doing. They are learning their spouse. They are learning their quirks, the things that they truly need. Because like I said, they're kind of like set things that, husband and wife need. But your husband or wife, your spouse, your significant other, whatever it may be, they have their own set of needs that you have to learn. And there's no easy way to learn it. There is no manual or, cheat sheet. There is eventually, after you've been with them for a really long time. And so this book is just them. It's them learning together. It's them living life and figuring that out. And then 2/3 through the book, we get the wrench thrown in of Kate showing back up and deciding that she now wants David, which is like ridiculous. People do be selfish. So it is then navigating, Marcia being insecure, David feeling like weirdly responsible for Kate, even though she's not his wife. And so it's this weird commingling. How do we keep this person in our life? How do we accept them into our life when she's also like super toxic and selfish and terrible? And then it turns into, okay, how do I protect my husband? How do I protect my wife? How do I protect my marriage? Not just from Kate, but from just like the world. And so it's just this really beautiful story. And it's, it's nothing crazy. My one complaint about this book is that it's pretty slow. It's pretty slow. It's a little bit so it's only 378 pages, but like it's a little chunky. It's got super tiny words. It's pretty dense. So that's kind of my one thing. This is not a quick read. It's not so exciting you'll tear through it, but it is a lovely book that you will meander your way through over the course of a week or two, depending on how fast you read and how often you have time to read. So this book, for me, just makes me feel good. And I think, part of that is the time of life when I read it. Part of it is that my sister gave it to me. And part of it is just the story of Marcia and David figuring out who they are and what they want to fight for. That's also a big part of this, is them being like, yeah, we got married in a rush, but like, do we want to fight for this life? Do we want to fight for each other? And so being able to come to those decisions on their own, that it was their own decision and not just something they were forced into because Kate left. It's really beautiful and it's sweet, and Marcia maturing and David slowing down and observing, and I don't know, just makes me feel good and like at peace. I don't know why. I hope you'll read it. Like I said, this is a book that you will meander through. It is a book that you will take a stroll through, that you will stop and smell the roses, look up at the sun through the leaves, sit on a bench, and just enjoy the breeze on your face. That's what this book is. Just a nice stroll through the park or the garden or the backyard. I hope you read it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. All those things would be super great and wonderful. I'd really, really appreciate it. And while I know that this book will not be everybody's cup of tea, I hope you will watch this video, share this video, like this video, comment on this video. If it's not your cup of tea, tell me why. Give me your suggestions because I like getting suggestions. I rarely get them, but I love getting suggestions of things to read. So tell me, what's a book that makes you feel, what is your book equivalent of a walk in the park, a stroll through the woods? With all of that, hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. Bye.